Welcome, everyone, to the most ill-conceived business podcast around the Business of Bullshit podcast. I'm James Hornick. Joining me are two great friends. We got to meet Jon Stamos together last weekend. I know that got Jared real excited. But Jared Gibson, Jon Tsourakis, welcome, guys.
Thank you, buddy. And the Beach Boys, which that was sad.
That hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
There were some other good shows that night. We had a good dinner.
We're talking about
Tracy.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah, Tracy was there with us.
Shout out to Tracy. She was there.
And the PR Accelerator.
Yeah. It was nice to see Jon.
We're talking about it like it was last weekend. By the time anybody hears it, it's going to be like a month ago. So everyone's going to be like, why aren't these guys talking about a concert that happened like early? Anyway.
I'm wearing this hat right now because we're in a playoff push. And by the time this thing airs, I'm guessing we probably will have been knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
love the delay. Anyways.
Yeah.
So what we want to talk about, episode 23, career advice is bullshit. But to get this actually is going to meander for a minute to get us there, because I think what we first had established before we say career advice is bullshit is like pretty much everything related to a traditional career path right now is really kind of bullshit. So it's really hard to follow anyone's advice. Jon actually came up with this topic. It's not going to sound like anything related to what we want to get to, but we'll get there. What's happening in the marketing space, Jon?
Yeah, agencies are in deep shit. So there's encroachment on AI. The economy's in bad shape. People are restricting budgets. There's tons of layoffs happening with marketing agencies, ad agencies, and tech agencies, and companies. They're not all necessarily agencies. So the idea was to explore that, and then you took it a step further and realized it's actually deeper than that, because all these people poured into all of those industries to be in dev and programming and marketing, and a lot of those jobs unfortunately are going away. So that's why we're going to explore the topic today, why career advice is bullshit.
Yeah, because when you mentioned this, it really resonated with me too, because one of my old colleagues back in my Hirewell days, like it was so long ago, who worked more on the tech side, Phil, he was mentioning to me that like it's the conversations he's having with like tech leaders, it's never been harder to peg like where things are going in 5 years from now than it is right now. And the thing is, that's one of those things I'm sure people I don't think so. I think there are a lot of periods in time where you could make a pretty reasonable, accurate, like 5 years isn't that far off of a time frame, like where no one's predicting that your software development degree might be worthless in 5 years until now, and it's just a moving target, because everyone can talk about like what you should move into, what industries are going to thrive, but we're seeing things move so quickly now that I don't think anyone has any clue like what 5 years from now is going to look like in terms of what's actually going to be in demand and what's not.
So
I think a year from now, not even 5 years from now.
When this topic came up, I thought there's a movie line. I want to know if you guys can get the movie, where he tells one of the characters, it's an older character telling a younger character, he's like, I got one word for your future. I'm kind of slaughtering this, and he said, plastics.
Because The Graduate.
Yes, yeah. But thinking about that, like, all right, so that was, I think, in the 60s, right?
68, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was, like the future. And then, the same thing I think was said to us, like, throughout the 80s. What did they say in the 80s? Computers. You got to do something with computers. And then now, what are they going to say? AI? I mean, that's so I think it's always flawed, and I think it comes from a good place, but it's self-interested. It's going to be parents and guidance counselors and companies that are just trying to pull in labor. So,
what are the qualifications of being a guidance counselor? Like, I know they weren't successful in private industry before they became a guidance
maybe
counselor.
Not hitting on the kids. I don't know, man. I don't think it's super lofty.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was so a lot of the stuff, the way I think about it is from just because I'm fresh off of this go-to-market conference, but a lot of it is I think about from a sales and a marketing perspective. And somebody had a good line at the conference. It said, like, if you think about all the expertise that's out there from the marketing, the growth, these CROs, like all this like experience, but somebody said nobody has any experience on go-to-market in 2026, meaning we've never, ever dealt this. All the playbooks that everybody has run in the past, and it's not just for sales and marketing. Like, you could incorporate any playbook that's out there that people have been running for years, and none of that shit matters anymore unless you're proactive in trying to kind of like weave and figure out like what's on the horizon. Then you're gonna either get left behind or you're just gonna get caught with everybody else. And James, you said 5 years, dude. I think this shit's gonna be here a lot faster than people realize. And I think that you're going to start to see a lot of traditional roles and traditional jobs that people thought were irreplaceable 5 years ago kind of start slipping away. So
I agree with you. The crazy part, we don't even know which ones. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the hardest part. Is everyone has when ChatGPT first hit, everyone's like, well, all these having a liberal arts degree is like the most worthless thing. Like no one needs writers anymore. And like actually, no, it's actually the software engineer. Like it's been pivoting constantly in terms of. And I'm glad you said that too, Jared, because I may have said this talking point at some point in the past. I know I used it once my old podcast when I was talking talent all the time. The whole learn to code thing has been 10 years of if you just learn how to code, you'll have job security. Like that's been the thing. But this Federal Reserve in New York, these state stats came out maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Did you guys know journalism, philosophy, art, history majors have a lower unemployment rate than computer science engineers and computer engineering grads?
Did you say art history?
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that is
computer
shocking.
science grads 6.1, computer engineering 7.5, journalism 4.4, philosophy 3.2, art history 3.0. Now, part of that is because less people went into those majors, but I think the other part is and I'm just theorizing here. In a world where all the boring stuff, all the nerdy granular stuff that used to take man hours for someone to actually code can be done more easily by fewer people, what you really need is more people who can think abstractly about what are the problems we should be solving, not the technical problems, but like the business challenges, or how do we like just broader, bigger picture thinkers, people who think differently about stuff, And I think I've always been a big fan of like range and like having more generalized skills, but I never thought it'd be happening at the university level. Like I always still thought like, the more technical and the more specific and harder your degree is to get, the better off you are, but it's not, by the numbers, it's not the case anymore.
Was like deep specialization's a risk, like choosing a niche in business is one.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing here, and
Well,
AI just destroying tons of careers and jobs.
let me ask you a question, John. Since you talked about agencies being in trouble with everything that's going on right now, I look at us. I have an agency. You have an agency, right? And one of the things that we've noticed, or not noticed, one of the things that we realize is that we have to use AI to our fullest advantage. Build as much AI into what we're doing today to keep our costs down, speed, all that fun stuff. I still think that there's opportunities for agencies out there and other companies out there if they literally scrap the old fucking playbook right now and start building on AI and start learning AI and start understanding the value that can bring to the table in the world that we're in today and where we are going. If you're traditional and just trying to do, what you've always done to get you where you were, even if you have a successful company, I think that's where you're going to falter.
Yep, I would agree with that too. But I was on a podcast yesterday, and I made the claim: within the next 3 to 5 years, 20% of the agencies that are in business today are going to be out of business because they're not going to be able to make that shift, right?
Yeah.
At a minimum, I think that's the minimum.
That's conservative.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be as high as like 40 or 50. And then embracing AI, though, I think there are some businesses where they're taking it all in-house. So there's some niches that are going to be affected, and some people are going to, like those agencies are just going to have to disappear, and they're going to fall into that perspective. But I do agree that, embrace it to the fullest and figure it out. And unfortunately, that's business. It's competition.
Yeah. One of the themes for this conference I was at, and this, I don't know, eventually we'll get into what the topic is, but I think this all just kind of sets it up, is most people today are thinking about like generative AI. Like, right, whenever you talk about AI, people's mind initially goes to like, okay, how can we create new content, whatever that is, coding, like all this stuff. How can we make our lives easier? But the shit that's going to take over is this agentic AI, right? It not only generates the content, but it also takes, autonomous actions toward goals.
The entire
like
chain. It does the
the
full job
entire
description.
chain, the entire chain. And I think when people think AI, they're not thinking about that. That's what's going to take over, not the stuff that we're using kind of in plain sight today. Oh, type this prompt into ChatGPT. Like, right? There's a massive wave of this agentic AI that's coming, that's being built right now, and it's only going to continue to get better. And I think that's where you're going to start to see these companies just completely shut down.
So I might have mentioned this on the podcast before. Like I'm doing a little bit in Claude Code. I'm not a coder, but now I am because I can just talk to it. And Claude Code specifically,
you've got time, and you've got a lot of time.
I have time. They have this whole subagents feature where you can have, within Claude Code itself, you can have a product manager subagent, you can have a UX design subagent, you can have a back-end engineer subagent, a front-end engineer subagent, a QA. You can actually have like artificial people bots for each aspect, and they work together as like a project management team. Like that's agentic AI, right? But you're also having it specialize on different. It's nuts. Anyways, I wanted to. The other thing too, because Jared, you had some thoughts on this too. It's not even just, but it goes a level further. It's not even just that we don't know what jobs are going to be there or where things are going. It's also like the whole safety net, I think, is disappearing. And Jared, you had some thoughts on it. I had some additional thoughts that were completely different part of it. But like you were talking about the typical safe. Well, tell us like the safe path. I think you can go ahead and riff.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you and I have a little bit of stats, nothing crazy for this, but I think when we always think about like you're told like, hey, go get a job for a big company and that'll be like your career, like you're going to work for that company for years. And this isn't new, like that's changed a little bit over time. But I mean, just look at like Google cut 12,000 jobs, which was 6% of its workforce a few years ago. Like nothing is safe anymore. You're not going to be at these jobs. One of the stats that was brought up, and again, sales and marketing world, was that the average new sales and marketing hire out of college is typically only with a job. I want to say it was like 13 months, I think is what the number was. And then they're on to the next. I remember when we were bitching 3 years ago that like everybody leaves after a job after 3 or 4 years and they jump from job to job. That's down to like a little over a year now, which is crazy to think. So like, what does that even mean for kids that are coming out of college? Like having 2 kids, I'm terrified for this. I don't know what to tell my kids to start to focus on right now from an educational standpoint. It's just, I'm not sure. Like roofing,
home services.
People are always going to need roofers.
They are.
So
yeah, it's going to be a while until robots replace them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that. And with all of the trades, everybody's like, oh man, we need all these trades. We need more people in trades. Okay, well, there's all these trade schools that are being started. Private equity has just poured, probably billions of dollars into this space. And now you have fragmentation that's occurring because the people that are in the trades are like, wait a second, like I don't need to work for this bigger company. I can start my own. I can work 3 days a week. I can make decent money and do that. So you're going to see price wars that are happening in those spaces. There is no perfect answer. And we always crave this certainty. It's not out there, right? And I think it just comes down to just do something that you're good at.
I think, so I wanted another point on what Jared was saying with the safety net. I even take it a little further. Like when I think safety net, I think like, hey, if some people, things don't work out, they can go drive an Uber or deliver DoorDash, but that's going away. Like Waymo's coming for autonomous driving. You know what I mean?
No, we talked about Waymo too. Yeah. We talked about Waymo this weekend. I can't wait.
Are you guys saying Ted Kaczynski was right? Is that what you guys are agreeing on here?
He's a smart man. You ever read the whole manifesto? He had some points. So, but I think the problem is like human psychology. Because I was thinking about this too. I think the three of us can kind of admit that the three of us aren't normal, right? Like you two are both like entrepreneurs, like running agencies. I'm just proprietary trading. Like
I thought you were going somewhere else with. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
We just went like our own paths. We're also older too, so we kind of been around the block and whatnot. But most people don't want to have to obsess about this. Like most people are just like, I just want to work a job and pay my expenses, spend time with my family, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a level of stress knowing that there's this much less uncertainty than the normal person is probably willing to deal with. Because I think everyone fed the same: go to college, work, do good work, you'll be rewarded, blah blah blah. And none of this is new because we've seen this shift from the past generation or two. But it's just to your guys' point, it's just accelerating, and I think it's accelerating at a rate where going from a 2 to 4 year stint at a job to going to a 12-month stint at a job, it's like you're constantly fucking looking for a job, which no one wants to do.
So let's talk about that college concept, because my mind still goes to I want my kids to go to college. I want them to go to scholarship, all this stuff that happens, right? What would be the other path? The other path would be just don't go to school, which is the opposite of what most people
there's
say.
vocation, right? So
Well,
it's
yeah.
just, that's where I think it's, so what our generation has had this, the playbook that we were given was completely flawed. It was like, oh, just go to college and everything will be okay, right? That's why it's interesting that James brought up those degrees having the least amount of unemployment.
Yeah.
Because those were the degrees that our friends got, and you're like, oh, are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, art history. Are you going to work in a museum? Like, no, man, everything will work out. Well, apparently it did, and I was wrong. So, but I think what's going to happen is for the future, for it to work, it has to be almost going back into the day where it's kind of like the union apprenticeship type of setup where you're getting an internship, you're going early on and you're really trying to figure out what you're going to do. And if you want to change your career path later, that's fine. But I think it's companies investing in a younger audience to pull them in and actually train them in such a way where, I don't know, that's a prediction that I've had if it's going to work.
The other side of that argument, though, would be that AI is going to take over so much of those roles that are traditional for college students coming out, and they're not needed anymore.
To a point, though, right? So, for instance, if you look at like all the consulting firms, PwC, Deloitte, and all those, they're talking about like there's almost no work for the entry level, consultants and investment bankers and whatnot, because all of that is done with AI, from the decks to the crunching of the numbers and so on and so forth, right? But all the experience and wisdom with the consultants at the top, that's still necessary. Okay, well, attrition is going to take place, right? Would people just going to buy this AI data set and they're going to be happy? No. I mean, there's going to be a human element for it to have to function and move forward. And that's where I think it creates potentially that opportunity. And I know I'm getting into the weeds on that, but hell.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they brought up the big consulting firms are still going to be needed. The people are still going to be needed. It's just the front end to the back end of a lot of these processes can be done by robots, and you need the people in the middle to.
But here's the thing about that. A human, like, okay, so we get all this data, right? And we're like, oh, okay, all right, this is great. But we are these communal creatures that we're going to need another person to give it the blessing of the. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, this feels good. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. And that person's going to have to be able to guide. They're going to need a certain sense of experience and wisdom to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to believe their little head nod.
Yeah. All right, James, keep us back on track.
Where were we?
Training wheels.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about job security. Job security.
Yeah, well, it's fucked. I think we kind of beat that one to death.
Yeah.
There's okay. One other thing I want to get into too is upskilling. There's a whole industry around upskilling. Everyone needs to kind of learn new skills, but what fucking skills do you learn anymore? All I know is there's still money to be made in selling courses that people can upskill to, like certifications, accreditations. Someone gets down on the luck, convince them they need to kind of like learn something new. Yeah, the easiest way to always money to be made in selling somebody who's struggling to learn something. But even now, it's like if someone, how would you even if you wanted to expand your skill set to learn a new craft, like we've been saying, you don't know which direction to go, and you're just lighting money on. If it wasn't already a scam, these courses lighting money on fire, now they definitely fucking are, because even if they deliver what they promised on, how do you know that's actually going to be relevant in a couple of years?
Yeah, so what you're saying is that whole gig economy course program environment is going to fade away.
It's also that shit you can find it for free. Like, you want to learn anything right now, you can just go to ChatGPT or Claude and go to YouTube. Like, how many things right now can you not learn on your own? And I realize that the challenge is like people need structure. Not everyone's capable of kind of learning on their own, but I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about anyone spending money on something they feel really good is going to set them up for success in the next several years.
I think that market, unfortunately, will still exist with just a bunch of shoddy coursework because, the marketers are so solid at selling those things. The promises that they give even think back to the Tony Robbins and where they would give you 1,000, cassettes when you paid them or whatever. And you're going to learn how to be a billionaire in real estate and wealth management or whatever the hell they were preaching. The internet comes out, all that information is readily available, and it still exists more now than ever.
I also think that people are always going to be desperate. People are always going to be desperate to learn something new to help them be better at what they are.
being a con
and they're always
artist.
going to lose.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Being a con artist is that is foolproof. Like there's always a good economy for running scams. Anyways, Jared, you want to talk? So why don't you hit on some things you want to talk about some things related to sales specifically, since you are Mr. Sales on the call here. But soft skills, hard skills, branding, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so again, I'm fresh off of this conference, so this is all stuff that's top of mind for me right now. But one of the things that they talked about, especially with the younger generation coming out, is that there's a struggle on the soft skills. There's a struggle to communicate and be business savvy in having these conversations. And I don't know if that's going to get better. If anything, I could see that getting worse with more technology, more AI they're using, more social media. Like, that's something that concerns me, is just does the younger generation, are they business savvy enough to figure it out on their own? Then the other component to it, on the flip side, and John's going to love this, is, yeah, fine, this is my company, but your brand is your insurance. Like, your personal brand, going back to what we talked about, businesses are jumping from, or people are jumping from one business to another quickly. They're losing that job, whatever. Like, you have to have a personal brand today. And you were always told in the past, like, no, this is the company brand. It's selfish if you build your personal brand, all that. Like, fuck that. The world's completely changed. Like, if you're not building your personal brand with everything else that we're talking about, then again, another instance of dropping the ball and getting left behind. James, I see that just fucking grin on your face right now.
Ready to tear into it.
I mean, fine, it's cliche. Is it cliche? It's cliche.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just that, like, you're talking about.
It just sucks that you're right.
Oh fuck! What we need is like a few millions of people like building their personal brands and make me want to fucking vomit.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, now let me take that back. That may happen.
But here's the thing: like society. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots, right? There's going to be the ones that actually have a good brand, and there's going to be the others that have a shitty one, and then there's going to be those that don't even have one.
Let me tie this together too, because the one thing I'll say about personal brand that I think gets conflated, and the reason why I always have that reaction when it comes up, is personal brand is not like a content play or an online personality play. It's just being known within your industry and your peers,
Yes.
And it's going to networking events, it's making friends, it's
that's a good point.
That's really I think what's important, not like running a fucking podcast like we do or anything else, But it is just like,
but it's a component to it. They're all different components to it. If we just did this podcast, or I just posted content on LinkedIn, nobody would know who the fuck I was, nor would they care about anything. You have to be out building your personal brand, meeting people still. I don't think that's going to go. We're not going to turn into fucking what happened in Wall-E. At least I hope not. Like, that would be nightmare.
Two trash cans fall in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the premise?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. But you see the world.
I think he was
what,
thinking about the people
is.
on the spaceship that were.
Oh, yeah.
They're in full-on hippo mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you thought about the more heartwarming side of that, though.
Yeah, it's good.
I think in cartoons, I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's but I do, again, going back to the skills, soft skills, are going to be so important.
So I do think, and I guess we can kind of get into this. Now that we kind of laid the groundwork, last thing I'll say is, like, so what did we decide? So selling, being an entrepreneur, and being a scammer are the three areas where you have job security. Not everyone can or wants to sell. A lot of people don't have any interest or desire being an entrepreneur, and no, I'm not going to hype scammers. I'm sure there's other areas. Nurses, doctors. Yeah.
That seems like we were just all over the place.
No, but I think we had to lay the groundwork. So.
Okay.
No.
Now we're starting into it. Now we're digging into
Now we're getting into career advice. You know what I mean?
All
So the
right,
backdrop of why career paths are bullshit. Let's talk about
Turn
career
it up,
advice.
kids. Here it comes.
All right. So I admittedly I just pulled this shit straight from because we're going to debate on the validity of some of these very very old school pieces of advice. Number one,
we don't know. John, did you read these? I read the first two. And then we're like, okay, I got to stop and just read them live.
Yeah. No, I read through them. I think most of them are bullshit. Yeah.
All right. Number one.
Here we go.
Follow your passion.
Disagree.
Do what you love. The money will follow. Disagree. Disagree from John.
No. Hold on, John. Why do you disagree?
Passion burns hot. It burns out. You're going to love this thing, and then you're going to detest it and want to get away from it. I think Mark Manson said it best. Find all work is a shit sandwich. Find the one that tastes the best.
So you say, find something you're good at is what I think you're saying.
Find something
right?
you're good at and you can make money. Yeah.
What if you're not passionate about it and you fucking hate it, but you're good at it?
I mean, how many people are really passionate about their jobs now? Like, let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that passion's going to go away in whatever you do. And I think you have like all of the speeches that all these like billionaires give at like the colleges and whatnot, at the graduation ceremonies, and they're like, follow your passion, you know, dude, shut the fuck up. You got so lucky. I mean, granted, you worked hard. There's a lot of things that went in place.
I don't know, man.
Like, really? Yeah.
I just think that like if you're passionate about something, you do it for a living. Like, listen,
Are you passionate about what you do?
Yeah, dude. How can I fucking better be passionate about what I do? Like, some days I wake up and it sucks, but other days it's great. There's better days than there are worse days. But if I wasn't passionate about it, I would be a miserable bastard walking around just with like grumpy as shit, like hating the world. You have to be passionate about what.
So I don't know. Maybe it comes down to the definition of it. Yeah, like I look at passionate as something that is just like the money doesn't matter, like any of those other things. I think you have to have wherewithal. You have to have this sense of like rhythm and harmony and balance to be able to like move these things forward and achieve. And for, you know, to throw everything to the side to just do this thing, for me, yeah, it just doesn't click or make sense.
Have a bunch of fucking people playing video games in their basement, like trying to make it like, you know. I
think it's evenly weighted. Like some people follow passion and to the point where it's like, okay, dude, it's not working out. Like you got to go find another passion or something else. Dude, some people follow it and they're super successful with it. So I just think it's about like what you put into it and like the steps you take to follow that dream / passion, whatever it is, to make it happen.
So let me go back real quick. I think, okay, doing something that you're good at is, you know, something that you're going to progress at. Progression is happiness, right? So if you keep getting better at something, that might be conflated with, you know, passion or something. And like, for instance, I used to love skateboarding when I was a kid. And at one time I was like, oh man, I'm going to be a professional skateboarder, right? And I remember this quote from Tony Hawk. They said like, oh, well, why'd you get into skateboarding? He was like, oh, it's the only thing that I was good at, right? So I think that it's really important for people to realize going into the soft skills and some of these other things, like, okay, like what are you really good at? That's what you should follow.
You just use the greatest skateboarder in history as your example on this one.
What could make a better point? The word passion wasn't, he's like, hey, this was the only thing I was good at. And if you progress at something to a level, yes, maybe there's passion in that, but that's the most important thing. Because if you're good at it, not whether you're passionate at it, you're going to move forward.
What about the other side of that? What if you're passionate about something and you practice and get really good at it?
What if you're passionate about something you suck at? What if you're passionate about something that has no value in the market? Like you have to start with something that actually has market value that you don't suck at. Like those are like passion's like third on the list of things, I would say.
All right, moving on. Go to the next one.
So John wins that round. Marking this down.
Wait a second. All right, you think John wins? You think John wins because that's your opinion?
Yes.
Why did John win that round?
I'm holding the pen and I'm writing it on the paper that John won. Anyways.
All right.
All right. The next one. Network.
I'm protesting that one.
Network. It's all about it's all about who you know, not what you know.
Yes. True.
Yes.
True. I agree on that one.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a thumbs up there. Number 3. We actually talked about this. Get a college degree. You need a bachelor's degree to be successful.
No.
False. I would say it's false. But I would still encourage it, and that would still be my advice.
It's a shield. Let's say that you.
I think it's more of an experience thing. You have to it's a growing. I grew up in college, kind of, but you get the point. Like you learn to live independently from where you grew up, your family, your parents, whatever that was. And I think it helps you become an adult and ready for the workforce. Maybe not necessarily finding what your passion is coming out of college and what you're going to be when you get older. But I do think it's a massive part of becoming an adult.
Okay, here's where I disagree, and this is going back like 20 years. There was
it's already lost. Player. So you just mark me down as a loss.
There was back when the NBA. I remember what issue this was. Back when the NBA had the rule about like after LeBron James went pro, like right out of high school, they had that rule you had to spend 1 year. Like they didn't say in college you had to spend. There was a player who's like, yeah, fuck that. He just like went and played in Italy or someplace.
Yeah, it was what's his name from the Bucks got drafted. I'll think of his name, but keep going.
Yeah, but like. Who do you think got more life experience? Someone who went to a party school and just partied and played basketball for a year, or someone who actually went to a foreign country, played their sport, met a new culture, met new people, had to live on their own the same way? Like, what is there inherently about college that's like a growing experience? Like, it's kind of bullshit. It's like saying that say anything else you do, you couldn't like also get similar. That's why I never thought that ever held water. If anything, college is fucking fantasy land. I think we can all agree with that. Like, if you're actually having to go work somewhere for a living, like that's real life, as opposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I could see
frat parties, which
that's a unique scenario. You brought up that scenario, and it was Brandon Jennings. Okay. You brought up that scenario, and yes, for sure, like that's an example of one thing you could do. But for me,
I think it's a really expensive way for somebody to like leave home. I mean, there's other ways to go ahead and do that. So I think it really just depends on what. I think it's going to come down to the person. There's some people that are going to need it. There's some people that aren't, whether they're going to be successful.
And it also comes down to people being fortunate enough to be able to go to school.
Yeah, and it made sense when school cost a tenth of what it costs now.
Right.
Anyways. Okay, so that's bullshit. We all agree. To different levels.
Yep.
Number 4, to level 4, we already dunked on this one. Learn to code. That's bullshit. We're just going to give that one a big F right now.
Move on.
Number 5, diversify your skills.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. That's actually valid.
Yes.
We're going to give that one a star.
Yes.
John disagrees, which I know he's
well, let's.
No, I agree.
Let's hit on that. Let's talk about that one, because I think that. So I'm going to go to it from the conference, from the sales and marketing world, the go-to-market world.
He's just
an impact, bro.
I'm flying off it, but I'm going to.
conference.
But in the past, it was always like go into sales or go into marketing or go into whatever that is. I think now you have to be all of that. Like you have to be like the go-to-market leader in that space. You have to know sales. You have to know marketing. You need to know RevOps. You need to know partnership, right? You have to be able to do all of that today to be what is potentially going to be that next sales, revenue, marketing leader moving forward. So understanding all the different roles, and at least in my world, is going to be huge. And I think that anybody that's just going to stick with sales or just going to stick with marketing, I think they're going to be on the chopping block first for that. And they're probably the ones they're tenured for about a year, a little over a year.
Well, I think it also depends on the level, right? Because you're going to want specialists in those that are in the org chart, right? You don't want a jack of all trades that's running those campaigns. No,
but they need to understand what you want. They still need to understand. Like marketing needs to know sales like very well
sure.
today.
And I think
sales
any executive or manager that is overseeing whatever that is, it's always been that way, and it always should be that way.
Okay, so let's jump out of that world then. What are other areas where you say yes, you need to have multiple skills in certain, like, give me another example outside of what my little bubble I'm in is.
You mean like outside of sales?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say you're managing a hospital, right? Okay. So if you're managing a hospital, you're going to have to know a little bit about, let's say, like the oncology side of things, radiology, and so on and so forth. So I think no matter what, you're going to want to make sure that you are dangerous in each one of those areas. So not only that you can converse on it, but you're going to know the KPIs and realize whether it's being managed properly or not.
Yeah. So that means.
But but a radiologist still needs to know how to do radiology on that thing. So that's where I think it all depends on that org chart and where you want to be. Okay.
James, anything to add there, or are we just like moving on to the next? We all agree.
On to the next. We agree. Right. John nailed it as always. This one, okay. The next one here, I don't know. Is this? I think this is where the AI might have been hallucinating. Job hop every 2 to 3 years for better pay.
No, I think that's real.
I think it's real. Is that real?
Yeah, that's real advice.
One? I don't know.
Yeah, because you're really so you're least likely to get an equitable raise staying at the company you're at.
This is
versus
totally true. 100% true. I'm saying more from is it like an advice thing, because like I'm always coming around from the opposite side. I spent my whole career kind of in hiring, and all companies would universally don't like job hoppers who did that. So from a career path perspective, yeah, it makes sense to go do that, but there's a lot of people we'd see not get positions because they job hop too much. So I'm questioning if it's actually how common that advice was, because in my world, like, that was not good advice. But I see the other side where it was good advice, but like.
Well, we're talking about bad advice on this thing, so I don't know whether it's good advice or not. I just know I've heard it.
I've never heard that advice before, but.
So we're undecided. NA.
Yeah. Anthropic heard that advice, and that's why they recommended it. Anyways, get an MBA for leadership roles.
I think it's bullshit.
I do too.
I know plenty of people with MBAs that are great leaders, and I know just as many that couldn't find their ass with a flashlight and a plan. So, yeah.
I like when he pulls out some did he make that up, or is that like a?
I don't know if I did. Yeah. I mean, maybe somebody else said that one, but yeah. I'm serious.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I agree with you guys. I don't have an MBA. Most people I know probably don't have an MBA.
I can count on one hand how many roles we saw that required an MBA.
How many?
Like executive.
Is that going to
roles.
stay?
MBAs?
Not executive roles. I think that like my friends that have MBAs are typically in finance, some type of business or finance. But what do you think that's going to hold true? Where like people are going to want to see MBAs on the resume in order to advance in their career or your career?
I think it comes down to a security level in some cases where there's going to be some people that are insecure that can't rise without it, and they're not going to be able to present or show performance without it. So that's going to help give them what they need. There's others that I know that have their MBA. They got a ton from it. A lot of practical experience based on the training. They went to some pretty good universities. So I think it just all really depends on what you want to do. If you want to work for somebody else and you want to rise up as high as you can in business, especially in finance, investment banking, or some of these other spaces, and you want to be an executive, it's probably a good idea to get it. If you want to go your own way, you might be able to get some help from it. It's a very expensive way to do it. You might meet some people from a networking perspective that also might have a positive output, but you don't need it.
It's very much the old boys club. I mean, it's like it's buying access to the network of people you need to know to advance in certain areas.
There was a great ad that FedEx did.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It just gives me it's always left a bad taste in my mouth because anyone I've ever talked to is like, well, I did because I met a great network, but I'm just like, fuck, just like go to some network. Like I feel like that's something that you like. Imagine having we bitch about having to pay like $500,000 for a networking group. You know what I mean? Imagine paying like hundreds of thousands. I feel like it's a cop out. I know it's real. Like there is that network value that's real. I just fucking hate it.
Yeah. I just always go to this FedEx commercial. It was good. I don't know, it's like 10, 20 years old. And it was talking about how easy it is to use FedEx's website. And there's like this new hire, and he's in a suit, and these people are like, all right, hey, you go over here and you ship the packages this way. And he's like, I have an MBA. And she's like, oh, okay, in that case, let me show you. And then she like goes through it. I was like, what a solid dig. So I think, I have some friends that go to like Ivy League schools, and I'm always, call them out like in the first two sentences they're like, oh yeah, I went to Princeton, and it's like, oh, okay, that's awesome. You were able to work it in that quickly. And I know some others with the MBAs that very similar do the same thing. It's not in the first two sentences, but they're going to get it in and like with the first three paragraphs of conversation.
Love that. Yeah, it's my favorite. All right, so we're going to say that's bullshit. Cross that one out. This next one, I think it's really getting towards retirement planning, but save 10 to 20% for retirement, work till you're 65, just the traditional path of just work, save, and retire, which I think we all can recognize as bullshit because...
That's dead.
Yeah. Completely dead.
I don't know. I don't know what retirement would look like unless I sell my company and just make fuck you money and can just relax into the sunset.
Yeah, that's what real retirement looks like. Yeah.
I know.
But I think also retirement looks like doing whatever you want, whenever you want, right? Saving your 10 to 20% is not going to give you that opportunity.
You're just going to be able to stay home and watch TV and,
You have a super green lawn. Yeah, go, maybe get some drinks at the Elks Lodge. But I think, Jared, what you're saying, that should be the ultimate path that people should go on. Like, how do I build this thing that enterprises in value that is either an ATM for me to pull as much cash out as I want, or I can sell it and leave a legacy for my family? Not easy to do. Definitely not as easy as the system of the 10 to 20%, but I think it's a worthy goal. Yeah.
So we're calling bullshit on it?
Bullshit. Total bullshit.
All right. Last one. We kind of hit on this one, but I think we will kind of circle back to it. This relates to the story John told before we started when we weren't recording, but upskill constantly to stay relevant. John, you had a story here about someone who made themselves indispensable.
Oh, yeah. So I spoke with a client this week. I got introduced to this new client, and the guy has been at the company for 18 years. and there's been 10 acquisitions, and he's literally stayed the entire time, and he's the only original guy that is left.
He must be passionate about it.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it
He's
was.
he's just hot
This
and
guy's
heavy
so
and frothy.
passionate. We can't get rid of him.
Yeah. Oh man, look at this guy's passion.
Too much
Jeez.
passion.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think there is something to say for actually sticking around though, and knuckling down. There's advice. I can't remember the guy's name. He married that Spanx lady. I was watching a video with him the other day, but he said, after like a party is done or negative, he's like, be the last guy to leave, right? In some respects, I would say that this guy is the last guy to leave, and the amount of power he has seems to be immense, and job security.
I do think that as cliche as it is, which is why I kind of made light of it, like making yourself indispensable, like it's a real thing. It sounds like such a bullshit kind of word cliche. The problem is like it's such an ambiguous piece of advice. You know what I mean? Like how do you actually? What's the playbook for that? It's going to be different in every single situation. Like it's not something you can teach someone how to do. It's just like kind of vague generalities that don't materialize. But I think there's something
he could just be kissing.
Yeah,
he could be kissing a lot of ass. Oh, who's coming in new? I'm gonna go kiss their ass. Who's next?
Yeah.
That's a great soft skill.
Here's my collect blackmail every chance you get. There you go. That's how you stay relevant.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another quick thing though. Another client, one of my team members was telling me that there's an acquisition going on. We're doing this technology piece with it, and they're clearly getting rid of all the employees of the company they're acquiring, which is a sad thing. And he said the saddest thing though is watching all of these employees try to resist the change. Like, dude, your jobs are gone. It's really, really sad. They know their jobs are gone, but they're just trying to hold on a little bit longer before this thing gets implemented. And I think you got two things you can do there. Either you embrace it and say like, all right, how do we just get this thing to go and then get out, or just leave now. You know, the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall.
I've seen that, and I also know that people, when they get together for one cause, and that cause is against something else that's going on, it just makes them stronger, or at least feel stronger, and that's probably what's going on.
La resistance.
Yeah, that's what it is. Your guy you were talking about earlier is Jesse Isler. Saw him speak.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, he's a great speaker, man.
I saw him speak earlier this year at an EO conference here in Chicago. Awesome speaker. Yeah. He came out, he had like a DJ. He was playing music during his speech.
Yeah, high energy.
Crazy one of those guys who like raps, does like a business rap, you know what I mean?
Well, he was a rapper. He was a rapper. Like his whole story, like how he the New York Knicks theme song, which was like from the like early 90s, was a rap that he made up. Like he was boys with like Run DMC and all those guys. That's how he started. His story is crazy.
Yeah.
He's got a cool story.
I'm trying to make fun of like the crappy business rappers that show up at like these events or post. Anyways.
Oh man, like a Steve Ballmer kind of thing. Like, ooh, dude.
No. No, this guy's got some swag.
No, I know Jesse Isler. Yeah, I was talking about what James was talking about.
All right, I got we missed over one, but I think we're going to agree on this. Start at the bottom and work your way up. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so that means 3 out of 10 we're not bullshit. 7 out of 10 were bullshit. We all agreed upon. So network, diversify your skills, and upskill constantly, stay relevant, aka make yourself indispensable. Not bullshit, although the last one I would say is very ambiguous. The rest of them
Passion's not bullshit.
Bullshit list, top, follow your passion, number 1. Most bullshit. College degree, learn to code, diversify. No, sorry. Start at the bottom, work your way up, job hop. Get an MBA for leadership roles, and the traditional retirement plan. Bullshit. Okay. There we go. Career advice.
What's the best? Let's close this thing out with this. What's the best piece of advice you ever got? And it can be something quirky, it can be whatever, but what's the best you ever got?
I got do 10% better than everybody else around you. You know, everybody says like, "Oh, I'm gonna give it whatever percentage. We're gonna do this. I'm the hardest worker." No, I'm gonna work 10% harder than everybody else around me. And if you say that in a job interview, then they're gonna eat that up.
This is gonna sound very not like me, but mine was someone told me a long time ago, you're responsible for your own happiness, which is really a story about accountability. And if you're not happy with something, like you can't blame others for where you are in life. Like you have to. Because that's very much like a mentality of like someone did this to me, or I hate this job, or I hate this person I work for. Like, okay, you can leave. You can do something to affect change, to make yourself And ultimately, like, happiness is probably should be your number one goal in life, and it's determining what's going to make you happy, is what you should be pursuing. So maybe
I heard something similar, or it said pain is inevitable.
You're tearing me up, buddy.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Pain is pain is inevitable. Misery is a choice.
All right. Now, movie quote. What movie? Pain don't hurt.
Major Pain.
No. Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Come on, you got to get that. Mine is actually it's my buddy Larry Seiler, who you guys have both met. He has it on his LinkedIn. But his it made sense when he said it, and I've heard him say it before, and I don't know where he heard it from, but treat everyone as your mentor. I think that's like even the people that are like waiting on your tables at the restaurant, like treat everybody as your mentor. I think that's a good one. I think everybody just live by that. Just be like,
I missed it. Let's wrap this up. That's a wrap for episode 23 of the Business is Bullshit podcast.
That's 23. That's 23.
23. Wow.
Was it 23
Jordan,
or
baby.
22?
No,
Did I
that was
miscount?
23.
That's
No,
23.
that was 23.
22 still
Good,
not.
man.
All right, good job, guys. Catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. James Hornick, Jared Gibson, Jon Tsourakis signing off, reminding you that business is bullshit.
Later, y'all.